Welcome back again to another video, and today I thought I'd do a video since the market is going down quite considerably. I just want to do a video putting things into perspective, giving reasons why the market is reacting this way, and obviously this is not financial advice, but I'm just going to talk about my mindset and my beliefs going into this, and why I still feel like the bull run is still on until further data comes out to potentially invalidate it. So at the moment we've got the US proposing tariffs on Canada and Mexico of 25%. That's causing like a trade war, which ultimately means if that keeps going back and forth, for costs are going to increase for like everyday goods and for everyday consumer. And although the market has taken a brutal beating at the moment, and it's hard to kind of gauge how much further down it's going to go, there will be some relief eventually. The market does open tomorrow. It is a Sunday, so there's less liquidity in the market on the weekends compared to usual. So when some bad news comes out on the weekend and the volume's already low, it can help lower the price even more. So I just want to also say as well is that I've lived through a bear market of 2022, and I've witnessed assets crash 30, 40, 50, 60%, and you think they'll never come back, and then this year they've gone on an epic run. So just because something's going down in the short term, it's always good to zoom out and think about why you are invested in the first place. So don't get me wrong, if you're invested in meme coins with no utility, there's a high chance during these crashes that some of these coins won't survive and will go into the abyss. But lots of coins with fundamentals, as long as they maintain their values, keep building projects, they will bounce back as long as Bitcoin is doing well and the macro environment is doing pretty well. So personally, the Fed meeting came out from Jerome Powell the other day, and the result was to pause interest rates and to not lower them. The market had a little bounce because crypto was mentioned in one of the Fed meetings in one of the questions, but ultimately for alt season to really kick off, people were anticipating that interest rates could potentially be lowered. So I personally think this news is terrible short term. The market could go down even further, alts will continue to bleed. Look at some of these coins, even just compared to yesterday or the day before. Cardano sub 80 cents, that's down 20% in the last 7 days. You've got Bitcoin down around 8% in the last 7 days. It could continue to go down, it could bounce back tomorrow, who knows. But I do know that these coins have solid fundamentals, and this is all responding to the macroeconomic world. You've got to think we've got the most pro-crypto administration ever. All this legislation that's been passed. I do feel like in some ways it could potentially be market manipulation. I could see Trump being the type of guy, because he's a business guy, spent years working in the business sector, but he might make some of these decisions to short-term crash the market so he can load up and then make a hell of a lot of profit going into the medium to long term. I do believe there will be a financial crash and recession, but I still personally don't think it's yet. I personally think it'd be towards the end of 2026, start of 2027. I believe that he wouldn't get into office, his organisation wouldn't buy hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Ethereum and altcoins if the market was just going to crash, especially when he's in control and he holds the strings behind all the stuff that can pump and dump the market. So I believe that he's playing a much longer game, and there's something quite reassuring in that, actually, that we know that Trump's a businessman and he will ultimately pump the stocks and cryptos that he knows he holds. So yeah, another piece of data as well I want to talk about is that we've had this happen before. Like in 2021, just before alt season started, we had as much as a 60% pullback in some of these assets before further upside continuation. So I believe it could be one last final shakeout. And you've got to think as well, the sentiment right now is turning really, really bearish. The Ethereum Green Index is still 47, but I think when it updates tomorrow, it'll probably go down a bit. But the fact that you're having all these comments of people saying they've sold everything, crypto's a scam, maybe that's what they want you to think. That's what the market maker wants. You've got BlackRock, who holds hundreds of billions, that's right, billions worth of Bitcoin. They can easily manipulate the market and crash everything. And you've got to think a lot of this market has been influenced on leverage so far. So all it takes is for them to sell a bit, and then all the leverage it gets shorted, liquidated, and then they can buy it back up. So personally, I do feel like even if we do have a bit more of a beating in the short term, it's impossible to put a price target on because it all depends on Bitcoin and how the market opens up tomorrow. So we probably have a better idea of what targets are looking like in the short term when the stock market opens up tomorrow. But I just want to put in perspective that right now your emotions can get better with you. Don't get me wrong, I've been in the market for quite a few years. And it's the worst feeling in the world. You feel like the sky is falling. You can't stop checking your phone every 2 seconds. You feel like you can't do anything because the market's crashing. The best way I've learned to kind of get past this is that if you invested in projects that you truly believe in, you go and touch grass, go outside, do something, do a hobby, do something you'd actually enjoy doing to relieve stress. Just kind of continue on as your day. Like, if you believe in these assets, there's no point checking it every 2 seconds because you're not going to just be selling it, and if all it's going to do is just going to instill fear into you, and it's going to work yourself up, and you're going to waste lots of energy and stress over it. So if you believe in the 4-year cycles, which I do, if you believe that we're going to have a massive altcoin season, all this money coming in, which I do, you've got all these crypto ads coming up on YouTube. The market maker's not going to do this if they don't know something we don't. You've got to put yourself in the shoes of the people at the top. We've had a big run up from November to December. We've kind of gone sideways the last couple of months. I know we've gone down a bit today. We'll see how we close the weekly. You've got to think, in order for them to get the maximum gains, they're going to want to buy in as low as possible. Well, let's say if Trump crashed Ethereum down to 2.6k over like the next few days or few weeks, if he bought a lot of that up and then pumped it up to 10k within the span of 2 months, he's made a 4x in his investment. Whilst if he bought in when it was $4,000, which it was back in like December, and he sold at 10,000, that's 2.5 on your investment. So you got to think of it like this. And I've watched these coins fail, come back so many times. Look at ADA, for example. This is the lowest I've seen it, by the way, since November, and obviously we're now in February. And February is historically a very green month for cryptocurrency, especially after a Bitcoin halving year. So that chart looks so ugly. Zoom out on the 7 days. If it wants to load, it's still a very ugly chart, down significantly 20%. Zoom out on the monthly chart, still down even worse, 26%. But if you zoom out on the yearly, you're still up 56%. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you bought this asset a year ago today and sold it today, you're still up 50%. And this isn't taking into account how it went on a little run up mid-March. I think it came down to like 30 to 40 cents, ranging for 7 months before going on to 4x to $1.29 and then go sideways. We were literally all the way up here, 74 cents, came crashing down to like, I think on one of the days was like below 30 cents. And then to do that, to then blast through it and hit $1.29 at its top, it just shows that anything is possible. These dips, like, you've got to think a dip from there down to here is like 30-40% dip. That looks scary, especially when all you're seeing in your chart is just this moment in time. But when you zoom out and look at a massive leg up and going sideways, Bitcoin consolidating, everything consolidating, yes, it's broke that kind of lower, that structure there, but I think it could bounce back, and even if we did fall a little bit lower, it's still perfectly in play that we could go up to make all-time highs very shortly. You've got to think, when the sentiment is like this, you see all your favourite crypto influencers online, when the sky is falling, it seems like within a couple of months you look at the charts and everything is back up so much more. So you just got to think, like, what if everyone's doing something right now, why are they doing it? What's fueling them? Is it their emotions? Is it something else? When you dissect it, it's all a game of psychology and manipulation. Not even just as retail investors. Look at the people at the highest level, like presidents, leaders of countries. It's literally mass manipulation. It's one of the largest companies in the world. We've got BlackRock, which manages assets higher in money than most countries in the world, to put into perspective. You just got to think of all these factors, and dips will happen along the way. We always do. And in crypto, you've got to think if an asset can go up 300%, over 300% in 30 days, and you're not expecting a 30 to 40% fallback before upside momentum. And I guess crypto isn't for you. Like this, don't get me wrong, people can get lucky in crypto, and when I say lucky, it's people who buy coins that know nothing about it and then sell, make a profit, but don't really know anything about the coin itself, macroeconomics. So just kind of got lucky, was in at the right time, sold at the right time without looking at any other factors that dictate it. But if you're in this market and you buy through the depths of the bear market where something's down 93%, when everyone's telling you to run away, the sky's falling, the building's burning down, and everyone's running out of the building, but you're running to the building because you see the potential, and then you make the gains, then you deserve it, my friend. Like, it's not, look, that's I'd class as a smart business move, and in this day and age it's a visionary. Like, it's hard to, most people don't think like that, and that's why most people don't make it. you got to zoom out even further. Look, in 2018, it hit over $1. It came down to 2 cents in 3.5 years. Everyone was thinking then, oh, it's never coming back. It's never coming back. Then it blasted through it, and then went on to hit crazy all-time highs, and then corrected again. And this move now, if you zoom out, obviously came all the way down, came up a bit, came back down a bit, came up more. The trend is still up, and the global empty money supply is only going to increase, and quantitative easing is going to take effect very shortly. It just is. That's how the Fed's going to have to reserve a price, prepare if prices go up for consumer-based goods. It just is how it's meant to be. So yeah, I completely get it right now. If crypto isn't for you, if this is too much for you, I completely get it if you want to settle. But ultimately, you've also got to put yourself in the mind of the people that do make it in crypto, and these are the kind of times that make or break you as a person, and make or break you as an investor, and can change your life and create generational wealth. Now, I don't hold a glass ball. I don't know what's going to happen going into the future. No one does, quite frankly. But just based on speculation, with lots of data involved, lots of technical analysis, lots of everything taken into account, macroeconomics, presidents, kind of tensions. Like, you got to take everything into account. You've got to think, okay, do I think this is a good decision? Am I comfortable using this money to invest that could potentially go up or down? I'm just following the data. You got to think, all this downtrend, I know we kind of came up a bit prematurely, but that's because of the Bitcoin ETFs and Ethereum ETFs, which put liquidity into the market a bit too early. I mean, I felt like the market had to then correct itself because it was a bit too premature. November, massive move up. November last time round, big move up for Cardano, 3x. So everything's still charting, and you've got to think in 2017 as well, during Trump's first term, January wasn't necessarily a good month. February ended quite well. Like, I do believe even if this month, but by the way, I do believe this month things will change very quickly, because the sentiment seems to go very bad to very good, almost like seemingly in a split second. It's quite crazy actually. And then by the time something's pumped a lot, that's when the retail money comes back in, and then sentiment gets bad again. Things like dumping, then they sell, then it's a constant cycle of them buying high and selling low. When you've got to do things the other way around, I think, okay, everyone's running away from these assets right now. They've got fundamentals. How about I buy some of these assets that have got fundamentals because I believe in them long term, and wait a bit, and when sentiment changes, you'll reap the rewards. Just like now, my portfolio's dumped a lot. Don't get me wrong, it's quite scary to look at. It's dumped like low 5 figures like in the last month and a half, but I believe in these assets, and from my overall position, I'm slightly up. It's getting close to break even now for my liking, but I'm still up overall. Whilst if you would have bought right here, well, to be fair, I actually bought at $1 for Cardano quite a lot in 2021, so I kind of loaded my entry by buying any of these bits here. But if you was someone that just got in the bear market, you'd be still up over 200% right now, so that's something you've got to consider. I took into account, okay, I bought it at $1 in 2021, how do I lower my entry in an asset I believe in? And then right now, even though it's at 79 cents, I'm still up a few grand. So whilst if I didn't accumulate in the depths of the bear market, I'd still be down quite right now by over 20%. So it's something you've got to think about as well. The strategy to making it in crypto is time in the market as opposed to timing the market. It's impossible to time it. Obviously traders are good at that. They trade daily, weekly or whatever, and they can make a lot of money in it. But if you in crypto, the beauty of it is that anyone can buy it any given day, not think about it, and then days, weeks, years later, months or years in most cases, reap the rewards of it. That's what's quite fascinating about it. Just the shift of money and coming in and out of the assets every 4 years like clockwork, offset by a crypto halving cycle, offset by quantitative easing, president's legislation, all this sort of stuff. So yeah, I'll do another video tomorrow because it could go a lot further down, it could bounce, no one knows in the short term. But I just want to put this out there today to kind of show you in real time that not every day is all green, sunshine and roses. There are some red days, and this is what a red day is. Obviously, if you zoom out on charts, it looks less obvious because it looks like it's just an uptrend. But if you look at it day by day, we do have some very red days, which end weekly not as bad. So that's why it's fast. That's why whenever it's times like this, it's good to zoom out, think where we are in relation to a year ago, a few months ago, and it kind of helps put things into perspective more. You've got to think of, we've had a pro-crypto president come in potential 0% tax on US-based cryptos, which hasn't been announced yet. You've got a spot ETS potentially been approved. You've got CEOs of top crypto coins working with the White House. Just so much bullish news to come. But this is like a drop in the bucket, and I think the market is overreacting. But time will tell. You never know. Time will tell. No one can predict the market, and you never know. It could be a recession. I'm not saying I know the answers, but I'm just saying based on the data I've looked at, I'm comfortable with my position, and I'm basing my exit strategy based on where prices are by a certain point. So if Cardano, I don't know, is at $1 in May, then I might think, okay, well, it's not going to hit the $3 or $4 extra strategy. Maybe I'll lower it to $1.20 to $1.50. You got to like adjust it depending on what's going on and have a strategy, because things can change really quickly. Last cycle I got too queued up on an $8 price target when it was like $3, which never came, and I don't think necessarily will come this cycle. So I thought significant lower the exit strategy. I think it could go a heck of a lot higher than $3 or $4, but no one knows. That's on you to decide what you're willing to risk. The ballsy people make it in this market. That's all I wanted to say today. Is none of this is financial advice. This is my point of view as a person who's worked in finance, got a degree in it. But yeah, just leave a comment, because it's quite interesting capturing a specific moment in time. Sometimes it's quite easy to forget how sentiment changes. Like back in November when the market was pumping so rapidly, you kind of forgot that markets do crash as well. Like it's so hit with a wave of euphoria, you think, wow, this is amazing. But equally, it happens on the flip side as well, where markets can dump ridiculously. Like that chart on daily looks so ugly, on weekly it looks even more ugly, and on the monthly it looks even more ugly. But we will potentially have a bounce once some news comes out soon. And I think you've got to think, if all this negative stuff is going on right now and the prices are still at this stage, what about when some relief comes out, some good news comes out? There's going to be a bounce, and especially with all the legislation and everything coming in, I think it could be a local bottom. I don't want to say a price yet, because we could continue to keep falling, but once I'm comfortable we see a bounce over the next few days, maybe a few weeks, then I might make a prediction of that. But for now, guys, thank you for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe. Peace out.